Whether they're made by lovable buffoons, sage-like gaming masters, or gurning bellends shrieking like a toddler locked in a cupboard full of wasps, Let's Plays are amongst the most popular videos on YouTube. Most are made for fun or as a hobby, although in recent years some people have been able to earn a living from them by having adverts placed on their videos. Well, not anymore, or at least not for Nintendo games. Nintendo have recently begun filing Content ID claims on Let's Plays of their game franchises. A Content ID claim is essentially a statement of ownership made on Nintendo's behalf by a pitiless robot, telling YouTube that a particular video uses assets owned by Nintendo. Nintendo can then either have the offending video taken down, put their own ads on the video and claim all the ad revenue from it, or do nothing and let the video creator go about their day. Nintendo has gone for option 2. Any videos found to contain what they consider to be a substantial amount of Nintendo assets will have Nintendo adverts placed at the beginning or the end or to the side of the videos in question. If those videos already have adverts, those ads will be stripped out and replaced with Nintendo's. Finally, all the advertising revenue from these adverts will from that point on go to Nintendo. Out of all the options presented, this might seem like the lesser of two evils, and indeed that's the very argument Nintendo are using.
We continually want our fans to enjoy sharing Nintendo content on YouTube, and that is why, unlike other entertainment companies, we have chosen not to block people using our intellectual property.
It sounds reasonable enough. A Nintendo fan gets to keep their video online, and Nintendo are compensated for their assets. But what about parts of a video that Nintendo don't own, parts that you created, such as commentary or fan art? Whether or not your video is comprised almost entirely of Nintendo game footage, elements of it are still indisputably yours and yours alone. Your time and your effort may not be quite as tangible as, say, your face, your voice or your personality, but they're still yours. Rather than simply reclaim what is theirs, however, in this case Nintendo are assuming ownership over those elements you created, literally parts of you, and making money from them. Money you won't see a smidgen of a fraction of a quantum of a penny from. Some Nintendo fans argue that Let's Players have no right whatsoever to make any money off of Nintendo's games. Some Nintendo fans of course would also defend Shigeru Miyamoto if he strangled a kitten live on Nintendo Direct. Nevertheless, some Let's Players do make a reasonable living of sorts from playing games for the entertainment of others. And many more boring people have crawled out the woodwork to ask, why should people make money just from talking over video games? Why don't they get a proper job? Well, firstly, there are two kinds of Let's Players who can make money from their videos. Those who have basic YouTube partnership, and those who are partnered with a third-party YouTube network such as Machinima, The Game Station or TGN. Let's Players who aren't with a network can only monetize videos of games for which the creators have given permission, like Notch has with Minecraft. These channels are often so small in terms of subscribers that it can take them years before they earn even $100, which is the minimum you have to make before YouTube starts paying out. Anyone who tries to put ads on videos for games they don't have permission for might earn about 5 pence. Shortly before YouTube's hunter-killer Content ID drones nuke their channel into oblivion and that 5 pence along with it. The number of Let's Players who earn enough to live comfortably are a comparatively tiny minority, have a huge subscriber base they've spent years building, and are nearly all partnered with a YouTube gaming network. These networks take a percentage of the Let's Players' advertising money in exchange for, amongst other things, negotiating with publishers and developers for permission to use footage of their games. This allows the Let's Player to keep making monetized videos without worrying they'll get sued into debtor's prison. If you were to add up all the money made by all these Let's Players, big and small, it would be a drop in the ocean next to the $72 million net profit Nintendo made last year. As cash grabs go, it makes about as much sense as robbing every homeless person in London. Simply too much effort and too much bad press for too little cash. Speaking of bad press, Nintendo's actions are dumb from a simple business perspective. You see, by allowing Content ID to put their name to absolutely any video containing Nintendo's content, Nintendo are effectively incorporating those videos into their brand. You see, one thing Content ID can't check is a video's context. To its unblinking mechanised eyes, a Super Mario World speedrun shot on a crappy camcorder is no different from one taken using screen capture software. Similarly, it can't tell the difference between one commentator educating their audience about the history of the Mario franchise, and another one barking like a seal while slapping their bum. So long as either the audio or video match what's on its database, Content ID will flag it as Nintendo property. So in theory I could record a playthrough of Super Mario Bros. And replace the audio with the sound of a man wanking off a horse, and earn the Nintendo seal of approval. By the time a real-life person at Nintendo realised what had happened, the Super Mario Bros. Horse-wanking experience would be seared into the public's perception of the brand. Not that I'd ever do such a thing, of course. Why should Nintendo profit off my artistic genius? Speaking of experiences, watching a video of someone play a video game is like watching a movie blindfolded, or someone conveying a song to you through interpretive mime. Films and songs are static media products that you consume passively, so no matter how many times you watch The Shawshank Redemption, it'll play out the same, unless someone spliced in the ending to The Rocketeer when you're not looking. Similarly, a Beyoncé song will never suddenly tell you to kill your parents and burn their house down for the glory of Satan. Video games, however, are an active, immersive medium that change depending on the actions of a player. Two playthroughs of a video game may both abide by the same rules and hit the same narrative or story beats, but they're never exactly the same. Even in story-heavy games such as Metal Gear Solid 4 or Heavy Rain, a Let's Player is not giving you the entire gameplay experience. At no point during a Let's Play can you jump in and take over the game. God knows I've seen enough Let's Plays where I wished I could. Okay, Jesse, pick up the hand cannon. To call this short-sighted on Nintendo's part is a bit like saying Helen Keller was a bit hard of hearing. It highlights how utterly clueless Nintendo are about both the internet and new media, and it will come back and bite them in the arse. For the rare few gaming-focused YouTubers who have a large enough audience to make a living from, this gives them no incentive whatsoever to cover any Nintendo product. When you consider some of these big-name YouTubers have audiences in the millions, that's a lot of free advertising Nintendo are throwing away. Meanwhile, smaller YouTubers will shy away from covering Nintendo games for legal reasons, worried their otherwise innocuous Yoshi's Island speedruns could cause their entire channel to be shut down. Despite Nintendo's insistence that they are not issuing copyright strikes, I know of at least one person who has received one for Nintendo-related content. In conclusion, Nintendo haven't merely shot themselves in the foot over this, they've practically hacked their leg off with a rusty hacksaw and thrown it to a rabid dog. And yet if we allow them to get away with this, it could set a precedent for other companies to try the same thing. And not just with Let's Plays. If you want a picture of the future of gaming videos if Nintendo is allowed to get away with this, then imagine a 10-year-old uploading a Deadly Towers Let's Play filmed on a camcorder. Forever.